How's it? Hang loose. Say, this is about Bannack, a ghost town, and a 1800s gold town in southwest Montana. I went to a university and got a degree in a nearby town called Dillon. Bannack is about 15 miles away. It's basically abandoned except for it's a state park is what it is now. So here's let me introduce a little background here so you know some of these photos. Every October there's a ghost tour in which residents of Dillon, like you see here, volunteer to participate. It's very small town stuff. So everyone's community, they do it at night and they'll get makeup and people will help out. It's all kind of volunteer stuff. It's a very tight community, little town thing. And they'll put on a tour giving some history of the town at night to little groups of, well, you could say little tour groups. And they could be from anywhere. So these little tour groups, and it's like a fundraiser for the town to Dillon to upkeep Bannack, the ghost town. It's a little fundraiser thing. So here's the ghost tour, which is, so they have people do reenactments of figures from the past. So I got the honor to participate as the crusty old miner. And I had a little skit that I had to memorize, and when the little tour group came by the street open in the total open darkness, I had my little skit and I would do their little what you doing here? Well, now you're here. Try to do their come to my let me tell you about and I got a little story. And then at the end, I dig into this bucket and I pull out a little fake skull and I throw it. Get out of here! Get out! Get! And that was the end of my skit. And the little tour moves on. Now they do this in October, so it's the very beginning of winter. So it is damn effing cold. It was 6 degrees one time at night when I was doing this. So over here, you see that's the Mead Hotel. Now this place is actually haunted with ghost spirits, and I got a real ghost story, my own personal ghost, one of them right here in that town. And this is a saloon, and across here is the schoolhouse, and upstairs is the Mason Lodge. This is an 1887 thing, Mason Lodge. It was almost it was almost lodge number 1 in Montana. But, well, they took their time with their paperwork and they became lodge number 16. But they were the first Masonic lodge. Down, this is boardwalk and a dirt path. You could read wide like Old West. This is definitely Old West. This is an Old West town, as is. These are old mining equipment from the early 1900s. And I'd be standing right around here with my little as they come down. And this is as it's getting dark. I lighten these, that's the moon. And I forget what that one is. It's a Chrism store or something. I get more detailed with this Bannack stuff. And some of these nighttime photos. And actually, when I was there, some of the other actors, there was 2 little girls that were part of the team, because there's a story of where children died for something or other, and you hear, oh, the ghosts of the children, and then there's like little kids playing, hey, boo, you know. And the kids came running up to me. It was dark at night. I was in between my skits, and I had a Coleman lantern, and they came up and they were like all really, really cold, and they're like, oh, no. And they told me about some actual ghost activity. While we're putting on a ghost tour, there's actual ghost activity going on. I heard a deer in the background. I heard a deer in the dark. It was something rustling in the dark, and turned around, it was a deer. And blah blah. This guy's a Mason, and this guy's, I think, a deputy in actual Dillon. So there's like real town people. This guy too. And there's actual town people that really do this. It was kind of a hoot. And they really get theatrical. I mean, small theater in small towns is big time. And that's it with that. But as I say, this is the actual ghost tour. Just a few photos, because I'm going to introduce Bannack, the actual Bannack town, a little later, and really give the real story, and then I have a real ghost story. But this is not that. This is some photos. And I'll tell you what. Now, I'll show you a PowerPoint I did in 2005. That was my early Montana days, I guess. So it's about Bannack, but it's kind of more of a fanciful, fancy. It's just a weird PowerPoint story about Bannack. So without further ado, the ghost town Bannack, or where they hanged the sheriff. A long time ago, in 1862, John White and a friend panned for gold on Grasshopper Creek, which you can see here, and they found it, a lot of it. People rode in from everywhere, from up north, in Virginia City, and even the gold panners across the country. They call that a stampede. So gold rush slang. This is a thriving gold town. Bannack developed by 1863, which was just a year or so. And as they rode in, the federal judge, because they needed some real law and order, Sidney Edgerton, the judge, and his family. His nephew called the place Bang Up. Bang Up. But the town's actual name is Bannack, and it's related to the Native American tribe. They say, at night especially, Bannack's haunted. Now, whether this is true or not, there is lots of haunted stories. But it's also a ghost town because it's abandoned. But let me tell you, one day the Air Force, in the 21st century, were tracking a UFO. And what they saw was beyond description. The government official position is denial. But others had some ideas, especially of what they looked like. Some thought, Others, some, maybe they look like that, or oh gosh, even scarier, or this, or oh god, or even something like that, perhaps, or more likely, something like this. Who knows what they look like, but most people thought aliens had powers beyond our science. Some thought they were in cahoots with each other. Some thought they would eat us like so many cattle mutilations. Needless to say, they feared the worst. Oh no. And they were right. They brought in the military and soldiers. And soldiers trained with alien expertise. To no avail. Things were looking grim. Stranger forces began to work. Forces that could only be considered alien. For
Did they have anti-gravity powers? Even as the Air Force took flight, strange anti-gravity warps began, twisting time and space. And many paratroopers somehow changed and were transported to another dimension, which was very weird, with weird people who said many weird things, and conversing with friendly AFDians. After that, perplexed by others, repelled by some, they were propelled to yet another dimension from somewhere and back from beyond, with help of some oddballs and familiar landmarks, close to, around, zoom, whoosh, zing, zoop, 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 swing, over towards more familiar grounds. Montana, southwest Montana, snowy Bannack, where they hanged the sheriff. Doesn't look like this. And this is not a deputy. And this is definitely not the sheriff, trust me. We weren't there when Jed's cabin burnt down, nor when they took Caleb's horse. It ran away. And no one is buried here, believe me. Everything in Bannack is pretty normal. That's not a bunny. That's not the sheriff's office. The end. Sorry, I didn't finish this yet. Yeah. So this is from 2005, so this is like freaking what the heck, 15 years old? And Bannack is a real ghost town. And it was a real gold town in 1861 or 1860, and that place really had the small boom. They really thought it was a big conspiracy with vigilantes, and it's a long story, but they hanged the sheriff and his deputies, and they took control of the gold operation. So this is actually the sheriff's office. This is the actual photo of Bannack, and back there is one of the sheriff's office, and he wasn't buried up here. They wouldn't bury him in a hallowed place. Actually, I don't know. There's a graveyard up on the top of this hill, and he wasn't buried there. And that's just a picture I took in Montana, and that's no one's hot cabin batting down. And here's me with the buffaloes, and that's my friend John, and that's one of those setup photos. And this is the gallows pole where they actually hang the sheriff. But this is a replacement gallows. It sort of basically looks like this, and that's the oops. This is on automatic, and this is the this is replacement because they vandalized the original one. See, the original poles where they hanged them, these things, are discarded off to the side on the other side of this dirt thing, and they put this one up here. But the sheriff he built his own gallows to put law and order into Bannack, and they hanged him on his own gallows. So this would be the back of Chisholm's Hall or something like that. And that was his office at one point. And that's his John's, what do you call it? horse connection. So he don't horse around, he just gets real horses all over the place. He's just a horse guy. So that is the story. Well, that's not the story, but that's just a fanciful story of a run through Bannack with a little UFO interlude of a haha, because I thought I was really cool at PowerPoint and I thought I was like hot stuff, and there it is. Well, oh, the end. Hang loose, mongoose.